So, is the world still burning? Yes, it is. So, we are diving back into 1985, and we're going into Maze, solve the world's most challenging puzzle. This one is run number 2, and I'm calling this one Straight Vibes. Okay, so if you want to know more about what this book is, what the challenge is, all of that stuff, check out the first video that we did. It's got all the intro, goes into a bit of the background, and everything. Basically, right now, we are trying to get from room 1 to room 45 using the quickest path possible. The actual challenge itself is to get from 1 to 45 and then back to 1 in only 16 steps. Our first run, attempt number 1, crashed out after, I believe, step 5. So we're going to try to do better this time. Let's see if we can get 6 or more steps in. Assuming we can't make it all the way to 45 on a vibes run. Also, I discovered that I don't really understand the way that the author's mind works well enough yet. So we're just going to kind of pick rooms in this run based on vibes just to try and get to see more of the maze, to see more rooms, because we only got to see 5 rooms. It was short, it was pretty brutal, and so yeah, I want to see more of the maze so we can get a better sense of like what are likely to be relevant clues going forward. All right, ready? Here we go. Attempt number 2. I'm going to correct that. Attempt number 2. Sorry, I'm American. Okay. We'll start this one from the prologue again. And again, all the text here is written from the perspective of the guide, except for bits that are actually quoted out as being visitors or guests speaking. So, the maze. I met them at the gate, though I usually wait inside. Preoccupied with their own thoughts, impatient, like so many children, they didn't see who I really was. They never noticed my crown, my pain, the fire in my eyes. Like all the others, they think the maze was made for them. Actually, it's the other way around. They think I'm some poet who will lead them through the symbols and spaces of this underworld. They think I will teach them lessons. They should call me Cerberus. I am the lesson. The monstrous walls rise up and run away as far as the human eye can see, circling and dividing. Which half is the maze? Even I get lost. It changes, sometimes slowly, imperceptibly, sometimes suddenly. This house is not only made of stone and mortar, wood and paint. It's made of time and mystery, hope and fear. Construction never stops. I take some pride in my role as architect. They think I will guide them to the center. Perhaps I will. The sun was very hot. Together, we walked through the gate into... Now, I'm actually going to start here, because on a vibes run, anything in this book can be a clue. And so what I see looking in this gate is I see the door with the bottle on it. So that's where I'm going. We're going to go in. We're going right for the bottle door, and we're going to see where that takes us. So this doesn't count as the first step. It begins in room 1. So together we walked through the gate into the entrance hall of the maze. They looked carefully at the bronze doors, trying to choose. The uncertainty of visitors is one of my little pleasures. It's easy to get lost, I said helpfully. This can be a sinister place. The sun glared at me through the gateway. Something was ringing behind one of the doors. They spent some time trying to decide which door it was, not understanding that the silences of the maze are as eloquent as the sounds. Decisions, one said. Too many decisions. It's the story of my life, said another. We don't want to be late, said a third, opening one of the doors. Nary a soul to be seen, said the first, peering into the gloom. I waited patiently for them to choose which way to go. Into... Now, as I had said, we're going for bottle door this time. Ha ha! So, tail, 41. Vibes answer. So I waited patiently for them to choose which way to go. Into room with a special piece of furniture I thought might appeal to my guests. How can we trust that thing? One remarked. Who knows where it ends up? I knew naturally, but that wasn't the point. They were pretty sure of themselves and went right on into... Okay, so, new room! Haha, exciting. Okay. Up the ladder takes us to room 35. Through the door with a bunch of horns takes us to room 10. 38. Oh, we went to 38 last time. 38 had a slide at the bottom. This, there, that looks like the top of that slide. So, not going to 38. I don't remember if we went to 35 last time or not. So, I'm going to keep track this time of the rooms that we go to. And we're going to start to build out a map. I think that seems only natural. So, we started in room 1. We came to room 41. So, step 1 is room 41 this time. Because I don't remember if we've been to 35. I don't think we've been to 35. Now, let's see. Okay, we're doing mostly vibes here, but just to point out a couple of things, we've got like a wooden dude with looks like a target for a face, with mushrooms on his feet. I'm sure that's significant for something. There's a toad with a fly. A picture of a toad with a fly on the actual, like a three-dimensional fly sitting on the picture itself. We do have the horns in room 10, and there's also a picture of a doll, or a girl with her fingers in her ears. So this is okay. Wait, I know I said we're doing vibes, but hey, that's at least cursory glance the clues while we're here. So we've got fingers in the ears, door with horns. So I'm gonna go ahead. I'm going to take the clues at face value for a change. So I'm gonna assume this, not the noisy one. So let's not do number 10. Let's go on to 35. They were pretty sure of themselves and went right on to what appeared to be someone's basement. One of them sank gratefully down on an old couch, which promptly collapsed. I tried to hide my smile. A totem or tribal fetish? Said one, walking around the center of the room. It could be a work of art, suggested another. Perhaps it's a signal to us, the thoughtful one said. A warning or direction. Not much help when there's only one way to go, put in another. I still think it's a signal. Yes, I said right away. I'm sure you're right. She was immediately suspicious. Still, with no real choice to make, we left things standing alone in light and silence, and went into. Okay, so this room, not a lot of choices. We're going to 33 whether we like it or not. However, is there anything that we can glean from here while we're in here? So step 2 took us to 35. So we went 1, 41, 35. There's a bench. Looks like some matches down here. We've got a suit on a hanger. Got the broken couch. The ladder. Presumably we came up the ladder down into the basement. That's an interesting one. Let that train go by. Okay, we've got a single light bulb hanging from the ceiling. We've got this wood and cloth kind of thing standing with a glove pointing toward 33. I mean, that's really our only choice anyway, so I don't know that we need much guidance, but can you do? Okay, so maybe there'll be something here that'll be relevant in the future. We'll find out. All right, so 141, 35, and now to 33. So step 4. Wait. 41 step 1, 35 step 2, 33 is step 3. So step 3. Went on to the room with no floor. They crowded each other on the narrow ledge. The bold one ventured out to the center. Realizing that they could see all of the signs only from the center of the room, several wanted to just turn back. With exaggerated caution, considering their predicament, they finally reached the door they wanted and eventually found themselves in. Okay, so we have room 3, we have room 35, which would be going back the way we came, and we have room 7. So there's some iconography here. It's a picture, and looks like a V, but it might be like a musical instrument. Kind of looks like could be strings across here. Hard to tell. There's also an instrument here. 7 has a dagger and a... I'm guessing it's a crown. Yeah, that's a crown. The crown is definitely in shadow here. Then you've got over here, you have a drum like on door 20 from room 1. I had a drum on it. And a key, a B, key B. And then we have a different kind of vase or jug here, and a ring. And that goes to room 3. There's a poster of a wagon up on the wall here. I have no idea. So let's see. Well, as tempted as I am to be a smartass and consider the drum to be a door to room 20, and then take that just for the sheer cheek of it, I'm not going to do that this run. If we come back here, maybe we'll try that again. Okay, so we've got toward 3 with a ring, or toward 7 with a dagger and a crown. Now, in the prologue, the guy did mention that he wears a crown. So I think vibe-wise, I'm inclined to, let's go to 7. So step 3 brought us to 33. So step 4, we're going to 7. With exaggerated caution, considering their predicament, they finally reached the door they wanted and eventually found themselves in a pleasant room with 3 doors and a lamp. Looking at the picture on the wall, they decided it wasn't a very good likeness. One of them almost fell over something on the floor. "Why don't they pick up after themselves?" he said, sounding like an old man. "Weren't you ever irresponsible?" I asked, thinking of my childhood and how wild I had been. Music was playing somewhere nearby. We stopped to listen for a moment. Leaving the pictures looking out at an empty room, we went on to... Okay, so we just came from room 33, so 33 takes us back. 36 is an option, and 16 is an option. We haven't been to either of those yet. So let's see. Step 1 took us to 41. Step 2 took us to 35. Step 3 took us to 33. Step 4 brought us to 7. Now, we have on the floor, there's like a wooden kind of ducky toy with some ribbons, a little foof on top, and a string. Let's see. Okay, so there's someone with a crown here, kind of a half of a portrait of a crown. There's a definitely sort of sketch quality portrait here compared to the much more detailed renderings in the other pictures. We've got is giving me kind of old man vibes up in this corner here. We got a bell. This almost looks like a mirror with these like steer horns on top. Then let's see, we've got, looks like either a couple or could be like 2 young men, depending on, you know, time period. We've got a some member of the clergy with a nice little tonsure there, which I don't know why anyone would choose that. As vulnerable as I feel losing my hair. Let's see, we have an older man here with a nice long beard. Open book. Kind of judgy looking figure. Someone with a neck ruff. Nice little jaunty hat down here. Bowler hat. It seemed to span a variety of different time periods. This kind of looks like the friar almost a little bit. And then we have a bit of landscape. Looks like it's just sort of tacked up with nails, not in a frame or anything like that. There's some sort of notice on the door to 36, and there's some sort of cloth or blanket or something kind of hanging out of door 16. And there's, of course, a lamp plugged in the corner. I don't know, folks. Actually, this would be a good one to get in the comments. Tell me which one you would do. Like, would you go to 36? Would you go to 16? Just vibes alone in this room. Because, honestly, I'm not feeling particularly compelled to either one of them. I think what I'm going to go for, I think I'm going to use the ducky because it's referenced in the text. And so, since that duck would have a really hard time being rolled over this, this kind of shaggy cloth or fur hanging out of this door, it would instead be able to wheel into this one. That's where we're going with the clues today. So this is what a vibes run looks like. All right, so we're going to 36. Step 5. Now, as long as we don't end up dead, or it's some sort of like failed room end game, as long as you don't lose on this step, this run is already more successful than last time. This is step 5. 36. Here we go. So, leaving the pictures looking out at an empty room, we went on to an old and ruinous part of the house. Turning a corner, the music we had been hearing became louder, and at last we saw the musicians themselves. They were so involved they failed to hear us. The music was suited to the scene, a moody, romantic melody. We stopped to listen, and I admit that I, too, was affected by the sound, as well as by the spectacle of the masked players. One of the visitors noticed me listening. "Beautiful music, don't you think?" "It's not bad," I said stiffly. "The viol brings the right sense of warmth to the piece, but the guitarist is overplaying his part. Still, he adds a certain plongeon brillant to an otherwise introspective composition." I have no idea if I said that correctly. Plongeon brillant. I'm just going French there. Unwilling to interrupt the concert, we slipped past the musicians into the door to... Okay, so, ruins. This is kind of outside. This is kind of cool. Can even hear the passing train. Okay. So the musicians are wearing like comedy and tragedy masks. So the tragedy masked player is apparently bringing warmth to the piece, while the guitarist, the comedy mask player, is overplaying his part. Our options, we can go to room 7, which takes us back to where we were. So at least, we still have a pathway back. And room 16. And I believe 16 was one of the other options from one of the previous rooms. So we could go back. Don't have a lot of choice here. So let's just march straight on to 16. All right. Unwilling to interrupt the concert, we slipped past the musicians into the door to a stone chamber which reminded me of my old neighbors. Of course, that was a long time ago now. But would you believe their descendants are still telling stories about me and my family to their children? Even if most of the stories are lies and exaggerations, it is an immortality of a sort. As I passed in front of an open doorway, a figure, crossing the hall outside, saw me and immediately ran off. "Who was that?" they asked. "Another visitor, to be sure." "Why did he run away?" "You probably scared him," I said, and they apparently believed me. With few regrets on my part, we left for... Okay. Choices. Interesting. Okay. 36. Take us back outside. There's a trap door, but there's no number to it. So we can't go that way. The hallway straight ahead, where there is a figure crossing, There's no number, so we can't go out there. And 7 takes us back. There's a crown. That's another. I feel like we're getting a lot of crown iconography going to 7. But we've been to both 36 and to 7 before. So that's kind of disappointing. This doesn't really take us anywhere new. What about clues? Okay, we've got a very tall sort of jester's scepter. We've got some sort of machine with what looks like gears on it. First, I thought it was a saw blade, but I think it's it looks thicker. It looks like it's a gear wheel. So there's some interlocked gears here. So there's some sort of mechanism. It doesn't have a clear purpose, at least not yet. We've got a vase with some sort of first I was thinking, oh, it's like a party hat, but it looks like it's maybe made of like, it's giving me clay vibes, like it has holes in it, so not really sure. Then we've got a gentleman here in bare feet and a suit of some kind, or at least, jacket and pants, with a club and a crown of vines. So that's interesting. All right, well, let's see. We just came from 36, so let's head on to 7 and see what else we've got. Because 36, if we go back there, it's just going to give us the option to go back to 7. Considering backtracking, I'm pretty sure we haven't found the shortest path. Yes, this room. So, we just came from 16. 36 leads out, so this is just a big loop. So 36 takes us to 16, 16 brings us back here. Okay. All right, so we found a loop. I guess let's head back to 33. Yes, okay, so we came back to this room. We had come from 35, 7 leads to a loop. We're not gonna try to game the system just yet. And pretend that's room 20. So I guess onward to 3, to an entirely different kind of place. The group complained of feeling all turned around, as well they might, because no one wanted to stay here very long. They missed the real sign while looking through the obvious. People in their situation, confronted with a challenge, tend to accept the terms of the challenge as a given, without examining it from all sides. How many sides does that problem have? They don't know. We passed down a long flight of stairs, through some sort of pantry, and on into... Okay, so... Alright, everything here is mirrored. So we've got what is your sign, leading back to room 33. This way, but it's upside down. So it's actually, well, it's mirrored. So this one is mirrored left to right. This one, this way sign is mirrored bottom to top, or vertically. Stop is mirrored horizontally. I'm guessing this is to an 18 with a sun on it. 9 written out backwards. And we've got a sphinx backwards with a question mark over it. 3 pans that look to be filled with some sort of liquid, guessing water. Okay. So, we're not going to go back to 33. These are all, interestingly, these are all multiples of 3. All right, well, this is saying this way to 18 and stop in front of 9. Again, this run trying to regard these clues at more or less face value, at least for now. I'll figure it out. Noting that the moon is over by 33 while the sun is over by 18. I'm getting more drawn to 18 than I am to 9. Even though the reflections here make me think we should be reading these backwards. So, like, stop shouldn't, like, the opposite of stop, the opposite of this way. But, I mean, what is a vibes run for if not blindly charging on into almost certain mistakes? Yeah. So, 18, final answer. So we went down a set of stairs, through a pantry, and into a much warmer room. Shadows danced across the floor to the fire's music. Someone's lost his hat. Are you sure it's the hat that is lost? I asked reasonably enough. No one would answer me. Ducking behind a curtain and hurrying down a passageway, we came out into... Okay, so, lots of iconography in this room. We've got a fireplace that's a face with big open mouth, nice burning fire. There's a dragon of some sort above it. We've got 2 chairs casting shadows. There's a bowling pin, a hat, some more logs. 3 takes us to... We've already been to 3. We just came from 3, so obviously we really only have the option of going onward to 13 here. And we have a bass clef with some notes. So assuming this is a bass stave, we have C and A. Then we have a treble clef here, and so assuming this is a treble clef, we've got what? E, G, C, E? E, G, C, E. So it's nice, like, major chord. Well, I mean, look, we are not really spoiled for choice here. So, vibing off, heading on to 13. Room number 13. They weren't really comfortable here, and I knew why. No, they said. We're not all superstitious. Only some of you, then? They were worried it might be Friday. Well, it's true that it was closer to the end of the week than they realized. It takes a great deal of experience, certainly more than they possessed, to understand how time works in the maze. The clock thought it was 6 in the evening. Quickly, moving on, we came to... So, all right, so 6 in the evening. Got the clock here with a couple skeletons. We've got a lamp pointing at a sundial. Doesn't look like the lamp is on, but hard to tell. Now, I think the lamp is dark, and this is just like light from above, based on the other shadows. But even so, cheating. Okay, so we've got millennium, century, decade, year, month, week, day, hour, minute, with a space down here that I think would reasonably be filled with second. So I feel like second, maybe it's part of the riddle clue, riddle solution. We've got a megaphone and director's chair. Okay, so 18 takes us back to where we came from. 27 and 25. I don't see a particular compelling reason to choose one over the other. So, well, the sundial thing seems to be pointing at 27, so let's go 27. So quickly moving on, we came to darkened chamber, dominated by a large figure. We could see that someone had been working here recently. The entrance I had so carefully hidden had been uncovered. I made a note to return as soon as I could and fill in the hole again. The visitors were so intrigued with the entrance at the bottom of the excavation that they ignored what the figure was trying to tell them. Where are the workmen? They must be ahead of us, I said. If we hurry, we can catch them. Catch up with them. I herded the group through the door to... Okay. So, room 27. Alright, exits. We have a statue leading to room 9 with the hole, going down the excavation under the statue to room 9. There's a heart here with no number, so perhaps if we can figure out what the heart is, we might be able to secret exit our way out of this one. A spade leading back to room 13. There's... it could be a janky cat. It's really giving me like owlbear vibes. I don't know how likely that is, but yeah, this is definitely making me feel like owlbear. That's probably just the D&D talking. But there's a plaque here. There's a baseball bat. Onward to 9. So, I herded the group through the door to what appeared to be an old storeroom. Dust obscured a damaged painting, making it hard to understand just what the artist had intended. This could be a trick of some sort, one said. We might be going round in circles. I don't think so, said the thoughtful one. I think we're supposed to think it's a trick. That's the trick. They all looked at me. Yes, I said. I'm sure you're right about that. With doubtful looks, they left for... Okay, well, 3 takes us back where we've already been. 18 also takes us back where we've been. What do we got here? We have a blind mouse. We've got 3... portrait of 3 men here. We have a torn painting, or torn maybe tapestry, of someone with appears to be armor, shield, sword. I'm able to see what's on this side. There is, looks like a sun, broken shovel. Well, let's, door 3 is just gonna, the door is closed, so vibing says let's just take 18. With doubtful looks, they left for, yes, a much warmer room. So shadows danced across the floor to the fire's music, yada yada. Ducking behind a curtain and hurrying down a path. Excuse me. Ducking behind a curtain and hurrying down a passageway, we came out in... This really wants to send us back to 3. I'm not ready to go back there yet, because I think in 13 there was another door that we hadn't explored yet. So, heading onward, ducking behind a curtain, hurrying down a passageway, we came out into room number 13. So we went to 27, and that just looped us around. We just came from 18, so 25. Quickly moving on, we came to a high room with the image of a crown on the wall for everyone to see. Though one of my parents might be low-born, the other was close to a king. I've always felt at home here. Which door ought we take? They wanted to know. I rather brusquely indicated the 3 doors. Any of these is fine for my purposes. They were disconcerted at the apparent lack of clues. Perhaps in another room, they said, leaving 4. Okay, so this plaque has fallen to reveal a crown. We also saw a crown on the door, a lot of crown iconography to room 7, so I'm guessing we could potentially use this as a shortcut back to room 7. We just came from room 13, so even though that kind of seems like the more obvious choice because it's kind of the most intact sign. Let's see, we've got this progressive portrait where, you know, the darker it gets, the more scared this guy looks. Room 35 we've been to, I do believe. I think we've been to room 35 in this run. You know what? I'm going to start writing this down. Next attempt, assuming I don't make it, next attempt, I'm going to keep more of a notebook here because this is now, we're now getting deep enough in and we've gone through enough steps where keeping it all locked safe in my memory is not quite doing it anymore. So, I think we've been to room 35 and this is kind of looking ominous. It's under the scared portrait. So I guess room 34, a middle-class drawing room or parlor. It was amazing how much more comfortable they felt in these surroundings. Everyone sat down, some on the floor, and chatted about where they had been and where they should go. Magpies, I said to myself. Not a real thought in their heads. They were so much at ease they almost missed what the room was telling them altogether. They finally got the message, which I thought was pretty obvious, and we went on to... Okay, so we just came from room 25, which is the yes door from here, so that's maybe telling me 35 is the wrong way, and we should go back there, and Kane pointing there saying, quick! Kind of suggesting that. Let's see, what else we have in here? We have a picture of what looks like the Washington Monument with the moon over the top. A no door, but there's no number, so not that way. A potato picture. We have a... I don't think it's a trireme, but you know, some sort of like long ship or perhaps a Greek or Phoenician kind of sailing vessel. Nice big square sail with an eye. Maybe Egyptian. Got jibe, pine, and compass here. Not really sure what those might be suggesting for us. So this is saying quick back the way we came. Yes. The maybe door is 10. I don't think we visited room 10 yet, so I'm inclined to check the new room first. So, they finally got the message, which I thought was pretty obvious, and we went on to, so we came on to a room that smelled of paint. Faint voices, apparently in an argument, came from behind the locked door. You know, said one, that sounds like us in there. They tried to open the door, but naturally wouldn't open. The voices stopped when the doorknob rattled. One picked up the umbrella. It may rain where we're going. I signaled my approval, and after a short rest, we came to... Okay, options here. Well, interesting here, because, okay, there was an umbrella outside. Like outside, before we got to room 1. Room 34 with a volcano. Takes us back where we came. Suitcase, hat box. I'm guessing this one is the locked door without the, with a blank placard that doesn't have anything written on it. So then we've got room 41 and 14 to choose from. You know what? I'm thinking... 41. I don't have a compelling reason, so let's do 41. Let's do 14. 41 has one door open, one door closed. 14 looks like it's wide open, so let's do 14. So I signaled my approval, and after a short rest, we came to one of the biggest rooms in the house. All 3 doorways were dark. Afraid to go out? I asked. Since they tried to think of themselves as adults, they didn't care for my question. Not really, said the thoughtful one, but that doesn't mean we have to go running around out there just to prove something to you. I knew she would bear watching. Choose then, I cried, as if my feelings were... Oh, wait, I can do this. Oh, choose then, I cried, as if my feelings were hurt. Pay no attention to anything I say. I knew they couldn't afford not to listen to me entirely. They were so easily led. Turning around, the group took a path that completely surprised me after all, and I followed them to... Okay, so these are little, like, almost mouse holes in a gigantic room. I think 24 was the lose room last time. I think that's the room we lost in last time. I don't believe we've been to 43 yet. So I think we were in 24 last go-round. I think we want to avoid that one. There is a target or a bullseye next to 43, and 10 takes us back the way we came. So let's do it. 43. So turning around, the group took a path that completely surprised me after all, and I followed them to... we were here last time too. Okay, I remember this room. 43. And unfortunately, there's no way back where we came from. 24, that was bad. So maybe we can find a different way out here. All right, so onto a great hall, dominated by the entrance to room 22. The face over the door had a sly look. Is it good or bad to have only 2 choices? They wanted to know. It was, predictably enough, neither good nor bad. These people just didn't know how to phrase a meaningful question. You have to be very particular in this house. We went on to... Okay, so 38. I have a feeling that... I'm trying to remember last run. And this is one where I have a feeling this bit of the run would probably go better if I better remembered where I'd been before. I feel like 38 was not the way we wanted to go. I think that sort of took us backward. So let's cruise on to 22 and sort of see if we can find a place to take a different path than what we did the last time that we were here during run 1. Okay, so we went on to a gaudy room that reminded me of a theatrical backdrop. Places like this are overdone for my taste, but some people like the exotic. Well, everyone is a critic. It's true, I am by nature extremely critical. Oh, I'm feeling a little bit manic right now, getting back into this area we've already been in. It's true, I am by nature extremely critical. Although my life is a lonely one, I have not spared any of my guests the rigor of my judgment. We all have our roles to play. This is not a bad place, really. One could spend quite some time here. However, in their restive way, the group moved on to... Okay, so 38 was the choice we had from room 43. So, right, I feel like this was another loop. So, from 43, we could either go to 22 here or 38. So, I guess we go on to 38. Here. Okay. The bottom of the slide. That's right. That's what this room is. Okay. So, a narrow space where one wall boasted half-finished carvings and another some sort of carnival poster. There was a little confusion as we made our entrance, but we soon sorted ourselves out. It was impossible to climb up the slippery slide, and another door wouldn't open for us. So, after emptying the pebbles from our shoes, we marched on to... Okay, if I remember correctly, we went right on to 40 last time. Excuse me. We went right on to 40 last time. So, let's go for... Well, oh, wait, 22 and 43. Oh, we just came from those. 22 leads to a choice between 18 and 43. No, sorry, 38 and 43. 43 leads to a choice between 38 and 22. Okay, so that's a loop. So 40 is our only option here. Onward! Not feeling great about this. I don't remember what was down here, but I do remember we lost. So, hoping we've got another choice. The foundation of the maze. Deep underground stones had been carved and fitted. Passages opened in the natural rock. These symbols are quite unusual, said one. They seem to be primitive signs. Do you know what signs? I asked him. Oh, wind and water, hills and planets. It was surprising that he could identify any of the symbols, but I was relieved that he couldn't read them correctly. Choosing more or less at random, they went through a passageway to... Now, so 38 takes us back. I feel like we did 11 last time, and that didn't end well, but I don't think we went and looked at number 6. So, choosing at random, we're going number 6. A gloomy, cave-like place far underground. Even I was impressed by the weight that hung over our heads. A very small hole high above admitted a feeble light. Standing in the light, one of them put his hand out. I think it might be raining out there. They didn't like the look of the place. You continue to judge everything by the way it looks, I cried, exasperated by their timidity. I knew I shouldn't have said anything. If you think all of the deceptions practiced in my family, if you think of all the deceptions practiced in my family, particularly on my father, we went down the only way open to us and came to room 40, which is right back the way we came. Okay, so this is a dead end. Important notice. All those who are visiting this house must be aware the individual representing himself as is no other the individual representing himself as, I'm guessing, the guide is no other than the... Don't know. There's an eye here. I wonder if that could potentially be taken, like if there's, how we found like a drum icon and crown. I wonder if this could potentially be like a secret passageway if we knew of a door with an eye on it. I don't remember seeing a door with an eye, but lock it up in here. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I wonder if that could be used. I wonder if we could take that to room 37. I'm feeling quite the caged animal here right now. I don't want to keep going because I don't remember having any other way to avoid losing from here. Well, if we end up back down in this room again, maybe we'll try getting clever and we'll see if we can escape via room 37. In the meantime, we're gonna play it straight, go on room 40, back the way we came, and our only choice ahead is room 11 because 38 just goes back and loops around again. So, choosing more or less at random, we went through a passageway to an airy room with many doors. Ah, yes, an airy room with many doors. It was a big space, but I still felt crowded. I've always hated confinement. Whatever you do, I warned them, don't touch that. This must be an important room, said one of them. It has more doors than any of the others. This was not true, but I didn't want to interrupt. With so many paths crossing here, we must be close to the center, she continued. I had noticed this guest before. I would have to be careful. This is an important choice, I said, trying to encourage them. Gratefully leaving the room behind, we walked all the way to... So 40 takes us back where we came from. None of the other doors have anything on them, so 24 is our only path forward. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. I don't want to go out this way. You let me down, vibes. Let me down. Down to a place of unlimited darkness. Where are the doors? They asked nervously. We can't see any doors. And there are no doors. This is the end. You lose. Good day. Be careful where you step, said a cold voice. This spot is taken. Dozens of eyes blinked at us in the Stygian gloom. By the time my uncertain visitors turned to ask me what to do, I was already far away. That's right. The guide off. There are no doors, said the voice. You're here with the rest of us now. Even my bellowing laughter couldn't fill this space. Okay, well, that's run 2 down the drain, the gutter, the toilet. But join us next time for attempt number 3. Until then, ciao.